you want to be the next mayor?
Something that I've been so passionate for. God put me here, and we all serve a purpose. My purpose here is to really give back to our community.
Where do you see yourself on the crimes that are happening in our city? Where's your focus going to be?
Reckless driving is reckless in the city lately. To start holding people accountable. If you're not stopping on the stop sign for 3 seconds, if I become mayor, it's going to be a rule, and lawyers and prosecutors, and you're not going to like it.
What think you're going to do different than the mayor before?
One, we're going to be a lot more vocal. You're going to see, you're going to hear from the administration, and making sure you, your parents, the money that they pay in taxes is being properly dispensed. If I'm in the mayor's seat and I'm doing something wrong, hold me accountable. Nobody's above the law.
Hey guys, and today episode Beyond the Chair is going to be with Mo Baydoun and the attorney Rami Hijazi. So, Mo, let's start with you.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about you and where are you from?
Well, I'm from Dearborn Heights, Michigan. I was born in East Dearborn. I was a prodigy of the south end of East Dearborn, of south end of Dearborn. Didn't actually live there, but I used to hang out there with my buddies when I was a kid. My aunt lived there. But overall, I moved to Dearborn Heights in 1997. We went to the fall of 98. I went to elementary school at Highview. I then went to Riverside, went to Crestwood. I'm currently the city council chairman, and I'm a candidate running for mayor.
Nice, nice. Good luck for that. I mean, I know you're going to get it for sure.
Inshallah. In 2017, I lost an election, and everybody was so confident that I was going to win. I ended up losing by 180 votes.
Wow.
So to me, it's like when you actually lose an election, the back of your mind, you're always telling yourself you don't want to go through that process again. And a lot of people that after losing an election don't put their name back on the ballot. So when people are like, Mo, the next mayor, no, let's say inshallah. I'm very superstitious.
Absolutely.
No.
How did you first got involved with the city council?
It's actually funny. So if Rami, I'm sure, can attest to, when I was younger, I was always involved in like Key Club. I was involved in like Students Against Destructive Decision. I was always engaged in those type of things where I didn't really play sports. I was a swimmer. I was on the Crestwood swim team. But I always enjoyed the public service aspect. Like I was very passionate. And when I was a sophomore, when I was a freshman in high school, we were raising money for a gentleman that lost his limbs in Iraq. And we were raising money for this guy named Brian Kofich. And we said we wanted to tie him, like try to raise like $2,000, $3,000. I was young, 13, 14 years old. And Lori Squire played a huge impact in my life. She was in charge of Key Club. And she said, we're going to get to the $2,000. We're going to get to the $2,000. And I don't know what ended up happening. I think somebody said, like, reach out to the media. Tell them what you're doing. And Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 2, everybody started interviewing, finding out how we're doing this thing called Pastorama. And all proceeds are going to go to help out Brian Kofich and his family, who was a Crestwood graduate. And we ended up raising close to $20,000 for Brian Kofich. And in my mind, I said, oh my God, this is better than being on the football team, the basketball team. I mean, not that I was any good in football or basketball, but the truth is, it was such a good feeling.
It is.
And there was so much ajr behind it. And really, that's what stemmed it for me. As far as like being also on city council, I think my father had an issue one time with the city. He was so upset and he wouldn't let me say anything. And he called me and said, 1, 2, 3 happened. This guy yelled at me at City Hall. This male yelled at me, and I was, I was in school at the time, and I was like, what? What do you mean he yelled at you? He said, I don't want you to do nothing. I don't want you to say nothing. And being who I am, I went there and I said something. And I told the person, I said, just remember, I'm one day going to run for office in the city, and you'll never disrespect another person like the way you disrespected my father. And really, that's what really like pushed me to really want people like my father, who couldn't speak English, who had a language barrier, to be able to feel okay walking into City Hall, not feel like I'm afraid. Who am I going to talk to? There was a huge language barrier just 10 years ago, not even 7 years ago.
You're right.
It was hard to go into City Hall as an Arab American. Now the youngest elected council chairman is an Arab American.
What did you like living in Dearborn Heights?
Look, I think Dearborn Heights is, when you move from, I moved here in the 90s. When we moved from East Dearborn to Dearborn Heights, it was a privilege amongst the Arab Americans. It was a privilege that, hey, you left East Dearborn and you moved to Dearborn Heights. I'm sure, Rami, you can agree to that.
Oh, absolutely.
But seeing what Dearborn has become and where Dearborn has, it's becoming a privilege to move back from what people are saying. It looks like a privilege because people are disappointed. Disappointed with the lack of police officers. They're disappointed with how people are not taking care of their homes. A lot of people are really upset. We got some of the highest water rates in the country. People are like, what am I paying all these high taxes? What am I getting for my services?
100%.
And so, we have to win those people back. We have to remind people that this is still the greatest community in the world. And I wholeheartedly believe it. And when I say Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, but this community, you want to raise $100,000 in 5 minutes, you can do it right here at Kazwin.
You're right. You're right.
We're the most giving community in the world. You're not going to see that in Northville. You're not going to see that in Canton. No other community is going to give back like Dearborn and Dearborn Heights does.
You're right.
So I'm privileged to be able to say that I represent, 66,000 constituents, that if any of them need anything, I'm going to stand firm and help them.
God bless you.
And it's not just me, though. It's also the community.
We have an amazing community.
If Rami hears about, let's just call somebody named Heather and 48125, and she's in need of help, Rami's going to jump in and say, I'm going to come help this person.
100%.
But that's how we were raised. That's how this community, taught us to be.
I have a question for you, Rami. As a lawyer, how the criminal law changed lately?
Actually, that's a good question. So usually it changes when the mayor changes because the agenda starts from the top and flows all the way down. So usually the mayor will let the prosecutor or the city attorney know where they stand on certain issues. And although it's an independent body, if they're looking to be strict, they will be strict. If they're looking to show leniency, if it's your first time, they'll offer that. Some cities are strategic and have alternative programs, like Dearborn and Dearborn Heights have a work program. If you do something bad, well, you're going to help the city by raking the leaves or cutting grass for people who are unable to. And so when we have those programs in effect, or a driving school, for example, if you commit a traffic offense, which they're annoying to do, but people will learn their lesson. So I guess that stems to a question for Mo. Where do you see yourself on the crimes that are happening in our city? Where's your focus going to be?
Look, it's no secret reckless driving is reckless in the city lately. And I can tell you from the era of 2008 to 2013, if you didn't stop on a stop sign for 3 seconds in Dearborn Heights, you got a ticket. Paul Ericson, how many 10 tickets did you get?
A dozen of them.
He even gave a police officer a ticket who worked for the city, who was his colleague. And so we've stemmed away, we've really pushed ourselves away from what that was. And, a buddy actually called me the other day and said, it was Haas Ayman, Fortson football class of 2009, number 34, best football player to come out of Fortson. And he said to me, man, what happened to the Dearborn Heights Police Department? I'm on my phone, I'm rolling a stop sign, nobody even says anything to me. The truth is, I think the morale has really fallen apart in the last 4 years. We have to find a way to, one, encourage our officers that you and the community have to be one. If somebody's rolling a stop sign, and I mean rolling a stop sign, we need to start holding them accountable. The courts need to stop kind of giving away those, and it's really not the courts. What's happening is our community has developed so much where the attorneys become allies to almost everybody. They know the prosecutors, they know the judges, and they're finding ways to fight these things. And so what can we do as a city? We need to start, reckless driving needs to start becoming an impound on these vehicles. To me, you roll a stop sign, you're reckless. You're a hazard to society. You're hurting people.
Because a lot of he hurt his family, bro. People, they dying.
There's a young boy named Joey Smith, 48125, on Annapolis, leaving a football game. This kid's a young little boy riding his bike home from a football game, struck by somebody who rolled a stop sign. Granted, it was unfortunately there was no light outside. She didn't see him. She ended up hitting him. She cooperated, but the truth is, he lost his life.
Wow.
He lost his life. just rolling a stop sign. He's a little boy. I mean, right now, if Rami or myself or you are riding our bike and a car barely tips us, I'm sure we're going to fall over. We hit our head. We might go through a concussion. We're probably going to survive that. A 7-year-old kid is not going to survive that.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Joey Smith, and it's unfair. So it's like, we need to start holding people accountable. If you're not stopping on the stop sign for 3 seconds, which is going to be a rule, inshallah, if I become mayor, that's going to be a rule. And lawyers and prosecutors, and you're not going to like it. Because if you continue to roll stop sign, we're impounding your car. That's the only way that those people are going to learn.
You're right. Why do you want to be the next mayor? Because a lot of people, they want to know.
That's a great question. And it's, alhamdulillah, I've had the opportunity, like I said, to be able to serve the last 4.5 years. But really, it's just kind of been something that I've been so passionate for, and it kind of landed here. Like I've landed here. It's not like I wanted to be here. It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like God put me here, and we all serve a purpose. And I feel that my purpose here is to really give back to our community and to be able to assist them and help them. And really, I don't think anybody in the city can be able to offer the services and the gratitude and the love and the aspirations for this position other than myself. I wholeheartedly believe that. And so that's one of the reasons why I believe we're going to be victorious, inshallah, at upcoming November.
Inshallah, inshallah.
I mean, if you look at, like, anybody can run for mayor. Anybody can run for city
100%.
council. Anybody can run for clerk or treasurer.
100%.
But, if you're not showing up to city council meetings, you're not putting in the work, you're not really passionate for it, what are you doing it for? I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing it for money. Because I'm definitely taking a pay cut to become the mayor of Dearborn Heights. I'm taking actually a huge pay cut. But the truth is, I'm more passionate about public service than I am to be able to make money.
I mean, top of it, like, you want to make living too. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to.
But I don't live outside of my means. Alhamdulillah, like.
God bless. What think you're gonna do different than the mayor before?
Look, I wish the mayor, Bill Bazzi, the best in all his future endeavors. He's going to Tunisia.
Like, what's the different you're gonna do? Different.
Well, one, we're going to be a lot more vocal. I think we're going to be able to really tackle the social media. Whereas you're going to hear from the administration. I'm going to work with the council. See, right now, the mayor he's failed to be able to really work with the city council. There's really just been a huge disconnect. And a lot of it has to do with, like, the overspending, the belief that the legislative body doesn't exist. And he's the executive branch, and he can ultimately do whatever he feels and does. And really spends money illegally without the approval of the council, making illegal hires, illegal spending. It's wrong, man. At the end of the day, when I sit on city council, I'm making sure Rami's parents, your parents, the money that they pay in taxes is being properly, dispensed, and really, I'm doing my due diligence.
That's amazing.
So if something is being done something that's being done incorrectly, I'm gonna hold his feet to the ground, and he doesn't like it. So I look, and then the rumors go around, the council and the administration are fighting. No, the truth is, the council is holding the administration accountable. And if I'm in the mayor's seat and I'm doing something wrong, hold me accountable. But nobody's above the law.
Mo, if more people want to find out about your agenda, where can we send them?
So there is, I have a website that's being created as we speak. So it's not officially up yet, but you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm very, very vocal on social media. Like almost every day I have a post of what we're doing, where we're at. If you want to volunteer, if you want to engage. And in the next coming weeks, we're going to be rolling out our platform and what we're expecting and things that people want to hear and see and what our plans are. And I tell you something right now, our plans are kind of like Rami, you nailed it. Some people have different approaches. We're going to be extremely strict. For the first 100 days, I think there needs to be a true dive into our finances, a true dive into our public safety. And really, the residents need to feel the services. A street sweeper should be out there once a week. Our streets should be plowed once it snows. A state of emergency should be called when we hear and know that a snowstorm is potentially coming before us. We've never heard one day, woke up in the morning and said, oh my God, it snowed, we didn't know. Meteorologists come out there and say, we're expecting 4 to 6 inches. Guess what? We're going to call for a state of emergency. Move your cars. You don't move your cars, you're going to get ticketed. We must be having to impound those too because people are not listening.
100%. Rami, for you, how did you help someone feels the system wasn't fair?
That's a great question. So, not everybody's guilty. I was saying that on the last podcast. Some people are truly innocent, or some people don't deserve the punishment that's being recommended to them. And so, most of the time, people, and I think this is a problem in almost every court, comes when there's a language barrier. A lot of people, mothers, fathers, who, came to this country, don't understand English too well. They enter a courtroom, and it's like something they've never seen before. And I think we have a problem. There needs to be interpreters, at least one on staff. At this point, you have to order one. So if I go into court not understanding English, how am I going to order an interpreter if I don't know how to say it? So imagine somebody who's not represented. So most of the time, for people who feel like they weren't treated well, it comes down to language barriers. Almost all the time, actually. So Mo, that would be something, if you think about it, having some sort of interpreter available. We have technology nowadays. Why not have them available for the whole city? Hey, we need an Arabic interpreter. You dial out on the iPad. Can you convert what they're saying over so we can understand?
That's great. So I just went to this expo and this meeting inside the Justice Center at the police department, which Rami worked at for a long time.
Absolutely.
And the new body cams that we're potentially going to be getting for the city of Dearborn Heights, if there's a language barrier and they can only speak Arabic, they can double tap. All they have to do is speak in Arabic, and it translates to the officer in English. And then he speaks back to it, and it speaks to him in Arabic.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's very, very, very impressive. It's very creative. Obviously, it's still they're still working on it, but I actually tested it, and it was very equipped well. So these are certain things that AI is really taking over. And so this AI new body cam is going to have that between the officer and whomever they pull over. And it speaks, I think, close to almost 20, 30 different languages.
That's awesome. I think the city of Dearborn Heights struggles with technology. All of the cities around us have the cameras on the road. Stolen vehicle crosses through the city of Dearborn and making it 2 miles before a cop catches them. Come through Dearborn Heights, we don't have our cameras up yet.
So I want to tell you,
So please, Mo.
flock cameras were actually just approved.
Awesome.
They were. And they were installed in very strategic areas. You cannot pull over, you cannot steal a car in Dearborn Heights anymore.
Awesome.
Really?
You cannot. Yeah, you will get caught. So for perpetrators watching this, my message to you is if you try to steal a car in Dearborn Heights, you're gonna get caught. 9 out of 10 times you're getting caught.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's no more of that. And they're in strategic areas, border lines between certain parts of the different communities. Because Dearborn Heights borders a bunch of different areas. So we've now the biggest issue Dearborn Heights is having, I think, is when people are opening up, leaving their cars unlocked. They're just stealing any valuables they find: quarters, change, purses, laptops, computers, whatever it is that you have in your car. If you're keeping your car unlocked, and your car gets ran through, you did it to yourself. We've known it's an issue, Rami.
Absolutely.
Lock the door.
Since we were kids.
You know what's funny? You talk about cars. I still have a video. I was parking my pickup truck and I have Jeep in Dearborn. All I seen on the camera when I went back, I wake up, I seen my back window broken, but they didn't steal it. When I wake up in the morning, I open the door, but who broke my window? I didn't even know. I went to the camera, I checked it was 2 guys, they went around, they saw the camera. They went around, they come close with, on the side, that way the camera, it's not gonna catch them. But I have 2 dogs. He broke the window. One of my dog, he's so smart. He went halfway to jump the fence. They saw the dog struggling to jump. Both of them dipped.
What kind of dogs do you have?
German Shepherd, both.
Wow. Nice. I got a toy poodle.
Man, that when I watched the video, I went to the dog. You know what? I'm gonna give you extra food for that.
It's amazing.
I have a question. What's the most you're proud of on your time in the city council?
a very memorable moment is the traffic light on Ford Road in Gully. And I only say this because...
Bro, you know, they brought you up the podcast before.
Yeah?
It was Abdullah and Ray, the corner on the corner.
Yes.
They brought you up. Oh man, they put lights. Mo Baydoun, he put lights over there because there was a lot of traffic.
Yeah, so this traffic light, people have tried for years. I fought for years, but I won't take the full credit for it because I have to recognize Al-Abbas Farhat because he was actually so instrumental into this happening. Al-Abbas Farhat, by the way, is probably the best elected official to delivering. You want somebody to deliver for you in Lansing, Al-Abbas Farhat's the guy. But what happened was MDOT was giving me a hard time. And they told me, and I just started sweet talking some people out in Lansing. Hey, honey, how you doing? Hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing? And I was just getting in contact with the right person. My friend Ali Salami out of Canton, Ali Salami cuts hair,
yeah,
her son, told me call this person. This person connected me with another person. I ended up connecting with another person. I ended up meeting a guy named Faisal Abraham. His mother lives around the block. And he's the designer engineer. And he told me, this is one of the worst traffic lights ever. And so for almost a year and a half, anytime an accident happened, I would go record a video and I would send it to Faisal Abraham and I would send it to the director of MDOT. And I just continued to send it to them. I'd get reports and I would send it to them. Every time there was an accident, and there was many accidents there.
Absolutely.
And they ended up telling me, yes, that they approved it. This was like a 2-year process. And then they told us they were going to make us wait. I had to wait for until this year. This year they were supposed to do it. And Al-Abbas said, no, we're going to make them do it sooner. And so with the help of Al-Abbas and, believe it or not, County Commissioner Dave Knizik and Assad Turfi, we got Wayne County to work with MDOT to take old traffic lights and install them instantly. So that traffic light went up. And this year they replaced the entire... I don't know what they're called, but the entire structure of how they were held up and everything. There's no more wires. They went into something, I think, more AI protocoled. So yeah, that was an amazing moment for me in Dearborn Heights. Also, I think another one was our trash company. GFL was failing. People's trashes weren't being picked up. And I was able to stand at the forefront and tell people, like, you're not getting paid. We're going with another company. And if you know anything about picking up trash companies, we pay them, like right now we're paying our company $275,000 a week. And we're paying GFL more. Or maybe just about, we're paying them a little bit more. And we basically told them, if you cannot deliver for us by this time, you're out. Mind you, I was fresh on council, but I was pushing these guys. And sure as behold, they couldn't deliver. And so we got rid of GFL and we brought forward Priority Waste. And they've been very good ever since.
Nice.
And I have a great relationship with management at Priority.
Beautiful. What's the first thing you're going to work on when you're going to get elected? First thing.
First thing is going to go back down to the reckless driving. We have a lot of guys, like you go down Ford Road at night, especially right now in the summer, you're going to hear the loud mufflers, people flying down the road.
I'm with you with that.
Right now, I was knocking on doors, hand to God. I was knocking on doors, and I was talking to a resident, and I said, all right, thank you so much, have a good day. And the guy got off the stop sign. He had a Dodge Ram, very loud mufflers. I want to say he did about 100 miles per hour, and it was so loud, I was scared. I said, oh my God. And all I could think about was, this guy right here needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail. I'm sure Rami's going to come out and save him. But my opinion is his car needs to be impounded. His license needs to be on a restriction. This guy was if he hit one person and it was in a school zone, that person was going to die. Like we failed to, your vehicle, Rami, correct me if I'm wrong, your vehicle can be used as a weapon.
Absolutely.
It is.
Now,
it is.
The issue is the city is lacking resources. So a lot of the times there's doing cite and release, which means either they give you your car back until you go home, or they tow your car and have someone come pick you up. So they're not making it to jail in a sense, right? Misdemeanor is a jailable offense. Technically speaking, you're supposed to be put in the cop car, handcuffed, and taken down for booking. But the resources, we don't have many people in our police station currently. And so bogging them down to process somebody for that type of behavior is just not something they're willing to do right now. Now, if you change it, that would be awesome. Because just the frightening feeling of going to jail, even for momentarily, would change anyone.
And the fees.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're getting booked, you got to get bailed out, you got to hire an attorney, you got to go get your car. Yeah, and guess what? And if you do this for the first 100 days, people are going to be like, all right, man, I don't want to speed in Dearborn Heights no more. I was that resident that I knew right when I crossed from Dearborn into Dearborn Heights from Ford Road, right as soon as I passed Outer Drive, I knew I was going 40, 45. I was cruise controlling. I would not speed in Dearborn Heights. And people are not respecting that no more.
You're right.
It's because we have failed them, and we have told them basically do whatever you want, and that's not going to happen no more. So day one, the reckless driving is going to go away. It's gone. Second thing offense that I'm going to be enforcing, inshallah ya Rab,
Inshallah.
is going to be the blight. You don't clean up in front of your house, you're getting ticketed. And we're not going to give no 2-week notice. It's a 24-hour notice. It's done. It's becoming a huge issue. There's no reason why the person next door to me has got their trash cans out for 3 days. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's not cutting his grass.
So, Rami, we know you have a business in Dearborn Heights. Do you have any special event for Point Blank?
Well, in terms of special events, you mean like a sale or?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, the biggest sales that we have at the store are going to be definitely around Black Friday. Everyone will come out on that day. Everyone from the community will come out and check our store out. But we always have programs for police officers. We offer them a really good discount. That's to get them in our store, safety. We want to create an alliance, having a gun store in your community, security needs to be tight. And so my goal is to make sure that, one, we have the right police force, not just for me, but for the whole community. The city, unfortunately, at one point had an issue with a different gun store, and they got robbed. And those guys took so many guns, it's scary. There were so many guns in their car, I heard they were spilling out of the car as they were driving.
Wow.
And hitting the road. And unfortunately, because we did not have the proper police force on the day, the one police officer who responded said, what can I do? He's watched a guy drive away with, 85 guns. The ATF stepped in the next day and eventually they caught him. There's more resources there, but safety is a main concern for us, and that's why we like to give back to the police officers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have another question, Rami. What's the future goal for your gun store?
Well, we are actually looking to hopefully open up a gun range, our very first gun range in the city of Dearborn Heights. There's a lot of factors the city has to consider before allowing such business in their city, and I think it's due. You have to do your due diligence. Through experience, I think, we're at that point now where we're ready. And so our future, we want to find a right place in Dearborn Heights, the proper zoning, open up a gun range where we could bring our community, teach them self-defense, even have programs with police officers. I know the Dearborn Heights police station, I know Moby, if you've ever been down there, they have a beautiful gun range.
Yeah.
With the car down there and everything. I've had the privilege of shooting there when I was enrolled in Crestwood. I had a class that took me over there. And so the police officers need a place to shoot. It's no secret.
Yes.
The police station's available to them, but we have more things we could offer them at a gun range. Tactical style training, lights, different types of guns they could rent, bullets. They'll be all available. And so my future is holding in that gun range, and we're going to make it happen.
Nice.
Mo, I have a question for you. Actually, this is coming off the top of my head right now.
About gun ranges?
No gun ranges.
I won't give my opinion.
We'll keep the guns away from you for now, even though you're a CPL holder, I'm sure.
I am. And a Wayne County Sheriff Reserve.
Awesome.
So I get to conceal at all times.
Awesome. Good for you. You're exempt from the other requirements. More so about the city, so it's no secret the infrastructure in Dearborn Heights is pretty old. We saw Dearborn flip their roads and change their sewer lines. They have beautiful, beautiful roads in their neighborhoods now. Some of the roads in our neighborhoods are crumbling. You drive down the road and you're hitting a bump after bump after bump after bump. I know budgeting is a big deal in that aspect, but Are there any plans in the back of your mind for that?
So, and I think what Dearborn did was they did a really, really good job at securing funding for their roads and finding ways for grants for infrastructure. Dearborn also has a grant writer in the city of Dearborn. Dearborn Heights doesn't. Dearborn Heights has not had any communication with its counterparts, like the state or the federal government or the county. They've, for almost 30 years, they failed to have those conversations. I could tell you just a couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the Speaker of the House and the County Executive, Assad Turfi. And Matt Hall, who's now the Speaker. And they're trying to appropriate this new funding, giving close to almost $7 million to Dearborn Heights to fix local roads. Right now, we have some really big projects, like Ann Arbor Trail is about to go through a full replacement. Beach Daily is about to go through a full replacement. And there's close to, I want to say, $5 to $6 million in all local roads, plus the additional 7. So you're going to see a lot of changes. But what we didn't do in the past was take advantage of free money. It's called match money. You put 10% down, the government will give you the remaining 90. We haven't done that. And I will say that this administration has tried to do it the last 4 years. But they worked with a company called Funding Scout, and I don't think they were able to deliver as fast as we wanted them to. So to me, it's like if you hire an in-house grant writer, you give them a close to 100, 120 grand a year. They work 4 days a week, and their job is to only bring $1 million, all they have to bring in to be able to say, this job is worth it. And so we don't have that. And so to me, it's like, once you're able to ask the government to come in and say, here, we're willing to give you 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 million dollars, which Dearborn was able to do, then yeah, you're going to see beautiful roads in Dearborn Heights. But what I can't do is tell you, we're going to pass, we're going to put more bonds and we're going to charge taxpayers more money to come out and fix the roads. It's not fair. If anything, like we're paying some of the highest water rates and some of the highest taxes in the city of Dearborn Heights.
You're right.
I cannot come back and tell them, we're going to raise your taxes more to give us better roads. No, I think there's different ways of finding it, and we're going to find those things. I wholeheartedly believe it. We're going to find it.
Man, God bless you for that. For real, people need that.
And we're going to. It's going to happen. And let me tell you, it's not going to happen overnight. But I promise you, Chalo and Mayor, in the next 4 years from now, we're going to have the same conversation, and you're going to say, how did you do it? And I'm going to tell you, man, it's all because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like he has a plan. When my wife asked me, who my wife is my biggest supporter, also my son Ali B in Medina, she said, why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself and your family and everything for the city, for the sake of the city? And I told her, because wallah, I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan for us. And that plan is that I'm blessed enough to help people when they're in time of need. Like, people come to me and say, I need help. How lucky am I that I'm able to help these people?
100%, bro.
So, like, to me, I look at it as ajr. What are people going to say to me, in these next 4 years if I don't deliver? I mean, I'd like to believe on city council I was able to deliver. I'm calling for an investigation on the water bill. I mean, I'm getting a lot of pushback from the city, but I'm still doing it. I was able to secure that traffic light, which is now potentially have saved a lot of lives. We haven't seen an accident on Ford Road and Gully anymore. I know that was 2 years ago, but I still want to say, like, it's a big deal. Every single time the weather breaks, there was 5, 6, 7 accidents there. You're not seeing anymore. And then, going back to, like, working with our police and our fire, like, we properly equip them to the best of our ability. A lot of them are leaving, though, because this administration, who wants to work for somebody that's calling them corrupt? That's why we're losing police officers. Imagine you woke up on the news in Channel 4 and Channel 7, the mayor of the city is calling the police department corrupt and saying the officers that work for this department are corrupt. Who wants to work for this department? So yeah, you're not going to hire officers. And guess what? You've had 0 charges against any officer that's corrupt. If there's somebody corrupt, bring them forward. I'll be the first one to put them on blast. But there's been none. If anything, I feel like our officers have really toned it down by the way they've treated people, which is now working against us. You see what's happening on John Daly. I saw a car the other day on John Daly. Like, I didn't even know what to do. I'm a resident. Even though I'm your councilman, I also live in Dearborn Heights. So I can be afraid as well. I watched a car fly from Doc's Theater in John Daly all the way to Wilson. Didn't stop on a stop sign. Hey, what if my wife was crossing the street? What if you couldn't stop fast enough? We need to start holding people accountable. And so, yeah, reckless driving is a huge issue. Cars need to start getting impounded. We need to figure out how to bring in more money to the city and really putting it back into the city of Dearborn Heights. We also fail revenue. We don't have like a civic center. We don't have like a pool area. We just got a beautiful park at Van Hollen Park, but that's it. That's all we have. So my next 4 year, my goal is like capture some of this money, find ways so that communities can continue to buy and invest back into Dearborn Heights. Like, can you get a community pool? Can we offer that to Dearborn Heights? Is there land? There is. Can we offer it? There are. We need the money. And if we don't have revenue centers like the Civic Center or in-ground pool for like communities, people are gonna say, I don't want to be here. Like Rami, they're gonna move to Dearborn, outside of the city. And I'm going to Northville and Canton, and it's not fair because we're losing really, really good people to different cities.
You're right. How would you make sure everyone's voice is heard? It's not like, oh, you know what, leave it.
It's not just talk?
Yeah.
They have to get the haircut with Barbara T. If they get the haircut with Barbara T, then their voice is like this.
I love you, bro.
But, I think that's actually a great question. Right now on my campaign team, the first campaign to ever do it in Dearborn Heights. Dearborn did it, so we stole the idea. We're not reinventing the wheel, but nobody has ever done it in Dearborn Heights. We created a 34-question survey, and we're asking residents, fill it out. Let us hear your voice. We want to know what you are going through. Tell us your biggest issues in Dearborn Heights. And then we're going to evaluate. We're going to put it down, and we're going to put it on a graph, and we're going to see where people are speaking and what they feel their biggest concerns are. And as we're going along, I think there's close to almost 700-800 people have already filled out the survey, and it's only been 2-3 weeks. So people are really filling this out, right? And it's all anonymous, unless you choose to put your email address or phone number, but everything else is being redacted. We're not asking you, give us your email address. You don't want to put it, leave it empty. But you have to answer the questions. And almost every single person is complaining about reckless driving. It is the number one concern. The number two biggest concern is flooding. The third biggest concern is water bills. And so we are now going to roll out our plan on how to tackle these issues. And so somebody like Rami that runs an amazing company that really helps, people out of these tickets, they better be charging a lot more.
Last time we was talking about the reckless driver. As soon he talked about it, and somebody from here, with big mouth, he said, you heard it? It's on the podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Would you be for the community when it comes to police officers? A lot of times people have negative interactions with these cops. Training the officers to de-escalate a situation can save so much headaches. People from going to jail. I think Dearborn Heights, to be truthful, does a fair job at it. I don't see too many cases where police officers yelling back at somebody. Usually we de-escalate, but there are some instances that have been made public in the past where police officers could have de-escalated and completely diffused the situation. So my question to you is, would you have that sort of training in the police officers that you would like to see in the department?
Look, I'm going to tell you, and Rami, me and you can share this. One of the reasons why was we were at young ages mistreated by police officers.
Absolutely.
I would roll out of my house, and there was an officer that used to wait outside of my home, and I had tinted windows on my car. I was
wait outside my house.
I was 19 years old. Yeah, I was 18, 17, 18, I don't know. And as soon as they would turn on my car, he'd pull me over. He's saying, Mr. Baydoun, you're gonna keep your tints on? And I was cocky. I was young. I made dumb decisions. And I'd say, yeah, I am. And one day he gave me a ticket, and I threw the ticket back on the floor. He said, wait right here. He left the ticket on the floor. He came back and wrote me a littering ticket. He handed me the ticket. He said, you just littered. The truth is, was that community policing? No. So this is the gentleman named Paul Ericson, who I have a great relationship with now. A few years later, we started hanging out at Canfield. I'm sure we'd just go sit back there, and me and 20, 30 guys would hang out at Canfield every single night. And this guy started putting no loitering signs. Basically, you're not allowed to hang out here. And if you do, you're getting a ticket. So we started hanging out on the side streets. And he started saying, you do this, we're going to give you a ticket. Hey, what do you want us to do? You want us to go cause a ruckus in the community? We're sitting at a park. We're trying to enjoy ourselves. Yeah, we drive tinted windows. It was Ramadan, and me, my buddy Mugzi, Baha, Hashemi, we walked up to this guy and we said, hey, Paul, and I told him, why are you so racist towards Lebanese Arab American? He's eating his manusha, and he said, you know why I'm eating this manusha so late? It was suhoor. I said, why? He said, because I'm married to a Muslim Lebanese woman from Majghara.
Wow.
And he said, I fast with her all Ramadan. He said, I'm not a racist. He said, you're right, you are a good person. I never got to know that you're a good person, but I don't know who's behind the wheel with 10 window tickets. He said, go hang out at Canfield. I'll make sure the loitering sign is gone, but don't drive around with 10 windows. I lost a friend that was hidden behind a guy who, his officer friend was shot and killed by a person that was had 10 windows. So he said, I made it my goal that anybody that has 10 windows, but we didn't know his story, and he didn't know ours. So after having that conversation with him, I got to know Paul Ericson. I got on city council. The first person I went to go talk to was Paul Ericson. I said, hey, remember when you used to give us all tickets? And he said, I stopped giving it to everybody. He said, I pushed away. He said, I think he became like a lieutenant or he went from a detective to a lieutenant. I don't remember, but it's a great story. But going back to Rami, community policing is huge. You know, there's definitely language barriers, and that's why we're creating different programs like the AI ones that can have that translation. And so to me, I think also you're starting to see the community represent somewhat of the community. You know, right now at Crestwood High School, when Rami and I went to Crestwood, it was 31% Arab American at Crestwood. Today it's 94% Arab American. So the community is definitely evolving.
Growing too.
And so the community, and so has the police department. That doesn't mean that we only want to hire Arab American police officers, but you do have now an Arab American police chief. You now have several Arab American sergeants. We never had that. And so I feel like you're starting to see a lot more community policing. You know, you're always going to have a situation where somebody's going to feel like the RoboCop, and they're going to want to scream and yell. But that's just the era we live in. Actually, I have one more story for you.
God.
I had one more story for you, and it's to Rami. I had just got appointed to city council. I got appointed on Tuesday. Friday night, I went out with me, Bulldog, and like 3-4 different guys. The officers don't really know Mo Baydoun yet. I mean, some of them do, some of the new ones don't. And I have a bunch of friends. We have a group chat. It's called the Ruck Riders. We drive our Ruckuses, Honda mopeds. And there's like 15, 20 of us in this. And we ride 15, 20 guys. And when we only do it at night, like we don't beep, we don't recklessly drive. And we're called the Ruck Riders. And we take this route all the way, from Has to Gully, and we stop at the BP. We like to hawk out. And my buddy Bulldog, I'm sure many of you guys don't, he's my neighbor. I did it out. So whatever, anything bad in here, please, I did it out. We're sitting outside, and these 2 Dearborn Heights police officers get out of the trucks. Big guys. They pumped their chest, and they looked at us like this, and they pumped their chest the whole time. So Bulldog said, hey, how about you smile? The guy turned around and said, I'll do what I want. And he said, don't smile to me. Smile to your new councilman, Mo Baydoun. And the guy did a double take. I said, no, man, gentlemen, don't worry about it, man. Just do your thing. If that's your character, that's your character. Who cares, Bulldog? Leave them alone. And I remember calling the former police chief and saying, this is not going to be tolerated anymore. People that are Arab Americans should not feel intimidated by a police officer that's in your department. This is uncalled for. And I let him know exactly what happened, and that person was reprimanded. And he's no longer in the Dearborn Heights Police Department. So let's add that to another list of change that we were able to make to the department.
Moby, do you remember, speaking on the same topic, growing up in middle school, we had the DARE program. Yeah. I think having a resource officer present in the schools left a big impression on me, at least personally. I mean, during DARE, they used to bring fake drugs for us to see so we can know what they are. And truly, I think that's why I never tried drugs growing up. To the back of my mind, I said, Officer Ed told me this isn't a good idea. Officer Ed said I could die if I do this. So at a certain point, they took the program away. It was gone. What would you do, as mayor? Would you bring a resource officer back to our school?
So believe it or not, psychology came back, studies showed that more people that were in the DARE program were prone to doing more drugs. And so they took it away. However, the state gave back money and said, we're going to give you money to have an SROs, school resource officers. And so right now, Dearborn Heights, Crestwood has 2 SROs, and then Annapolis has 1, and Westwood has 1, and Star International has 1. And the state actually funds half of their pay. And so the city of Dearborn Heights now can go and hire more officers because these SROs are getting paid throughout the entire year. They're getting paid through the state to work for the school. So yeah, as of right now, there are SROs inside schools, but there are no programs to teach them about drugs because there was a study done that found out that they actually taught people to do more drugs.
I would love to see that study.
I learned it in like 2012, the study, because I asked about it. I was taking a drug and behavior class at Wayne State, and I said, "Oh my God, is that why they got rid of DARE?"
Wow.
So yeah, that's why they've cut off all funding for DARE. But that goes back to the federal government, and that goes back to the state, and I believe the federal government. But yeah, they cut all funding for it. Would I support it? I thought DARE was great. But I also believe that your parents played a huge role as to why you never also did drugs. Like, we knew, at least for me, one, I didn't see weed until I was in college. I had no idea what weed was. I never smelt it, never seen it, was never around it. But we knew that, like, if we smoked Argile, our parents beat us up. No plain and simple. Like, cigarettes are not allowed.
Bro,
Argile, because it's more cultural.
I have my eyebrow, if you see it over here, it got cut. I was smoking cigarette, hiding. And my brother, he saw me. And that time I did my eyebrows too. And he came, he looked at me, "Oh, you smoke? Oh, you did your eyebrow too? Come here." Bah! He punched me right here, opened my eyebrow. He said, "That way, you will never forget it."
Wow.
Then you became Barber T.
But I appreciate him for that.
100%.
It changed me a lot, to be honest. And I have a question for you, Mo. What would you like Dearborn Heights knowing for in the future?
Dearborn Heights has always been known as a bedroom community. It's not like Dearborn. We don't have Ford. We don't have hotels. We don't have car dealerships. It's close-knit. It's a bedroom community. And I want it to stay that. I want it to be known as a destination place for families to grow their children and then let them continue to move on. But I don't want it to be, short-term rentals. And, let me go buy a rental property in Dearborn. You don't want that. It's very ugly and it's going to drive things down. We have some of the best school districts. Annapolis is an unbelievable school district. Robichaud is an unbelievable. We went to Robichaud. It's a great. They got a great criminal justice program. Crestwood has an amazing program, and I believe it's because of the community. The community is very close, strong, and so to me, it's like what I want for Dearborn Heights is to make sure that it's still this desirable community. But people are not feeling that, so we have to win that back. And the way we do this is continue to invest in our parks, invest in our infrastructure, invest in our police department, and I think we have to start over communicating. I think you need some speed bumps across some of the parks and the schools to kind of slow people down. I do believe that we have to be very, very strong and strict on our enforcement. We cannot lose another life in Dearborn Heights. We cannot. And I feel like at the rate we're going, you're just going to continue to see people die every single. I have a 3-year-old boy at home. I have a 17-month-old daughter who I love my children. Like Ali B is what I live for at this moment in my life. Nothing else matters to me. Whatever it is that I can provide for my children. And so if I can provide a better community for my children, then you best believe I'm going to create the greatest community for them. So that's what I want for Dearborn Heights. And maybe a hotel so we get a little bit more tax revenue.
Yeah, I was just speaking of tax revenue. A lot of people compare Dearborn and Dearborn Heights and say, well, Dearborn's fortunate. They have Ford. Yeah. They have XYZ company. In Dearborn Heights, what do we have?
We're home of Hype Athletics.
Oh, yeah.
Really. Dearborn Heights is our biggest employer. Outside of the city hall, our biggest employer is Hype Athletics. So when people say like, Dearborn says home of Henry Ford, I'm proud to say I'm home of Hype Athletics. There's nothing wrong with that. We have, that is the largest employer in Dearborn Heights. That's it, plain and simple. We don't have a dealership, we don't have a hotel. I don't even think we got motels. I mean, we have a couple on Telegraph, but those are even shut down, luckily. So to us, it's like, we need to find a way to continue to make Dearborn Heights being great. Our infrastructure has to become a lot better, but it starts with public safety, I believe. I think if you can make people feel safe at home and know that there's no more loud mufflers flying down your block at 2 a.m, and the way you do that is by investing in your police department. And continuing to invest in your fire department. You have to.
What do you do on your free time?
I take long walks in the beach. I'm just kidding. I spend a lot of time with my family, my friends. I'm very, very family oriented, and I have a lot of group of friends. Like when I tell you tonight, if I wasn't at this podcast, I'd probably have 20 of my friends over. And I've been the same way. You can ask Rami since I was a kid. There's always 20, 30 of my friends over, and I enjoy it. I enjoy hosting my friends. I enjoy being around a bunch of people. I love my children, my wife, my parents, my siblings. I try to spend time with them. I own the gallery in Dearborn Heights. It's a new culinary and lounge experience where you're able to bring your family and enjoy some of the finest cuisines of Sicily's pizza and Kai sushi. But if you want to step away and wind down and smoke a hookah, you can step in a completely different address at 26507 and enjoy that and get your food catered and delivered to you at the lounge. So they're two separate entities. And then I'm also a loan officer. I do a lot.
Speaking of a loan officer, did a fantastic job. I purchased a home last year. First person I thought of was Moby. Thank you. He wrote, I think, the best loan that anybody could have ever written. Seriously.
This is like his parents' du'ats. Like, Rami got the greatest loan. And I kept thinking to myself, like, I'm going to win this guy over one day. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get my favor back. But really, Rami's been like a younger brother to me, and he's very knowledgeable.
He is.
My friends all actually, I think somebody recently messaged you, Muggsy, who I sent you to get his CPL.
He asked me about traveling.
About traveling to Tennessee with his gun. And I was like, really? I go, you asked Rami? He goes, yeah, well, I asked Rami. So that was great.
I get that question all the time. I'm leaving the state. Can I travel with my gun? There's literally a map online. It's called the reciprocity map. CPL reciprocity map. Look into it. It says, if your home state's Michigan, all the green states, yeah, you could travel. All the yellow states, click on it and I'll tell you what the restriction is. All the red states, don't you dare. And really, like if you're going to Chicago, that's going to be our most common one. If you're traveling to Chicago, you cannot take your firearm on your person. So pull over right before you get to that state, unload the car, put it in the back, and keep on traveling. It's totally legal at that point.
I drove to Tennessee with my gun, and I didn't know. But I still said, like, what if a bear attacks my child? And my son was like under a year at the time. And I was so scared. And then Muggsy just went to Tennessee, and he told me he did it. And I said, oh, what was the law? And he said, Rami told me it was fine. I said, oh. So if something would have happened to me in Tennessee, I'd be calling Rami Hamzazi.
That's what reciprocity means. So does state B recognize state A's CPL? Yeah. So like Ohio, yes. All the way down, you keep going down Tennessee, you're not going to have any state that you travel down that won't accept it. It's very important because you can end up with a felony.
Yeah.
If Tennessee didn't allow it, just by the grace of God, you got pulled over for, like, let's just say, reckless driving, and he pulled you over and he impounded your car, found that firearm, you're going to be a felon overnight. And you're like, what? I have a CPL. What are you talking about? So very important. You guys have to do your research. And please reach out to me if you don't. If you don't know, add me on Instagram, and I respond to everybody. I think giving back to the community, giving people information, it comes back. Some attorneys might not have time to respond. Alhamdulillah, I have a good support system. I respond to everybody. If you reach out to me, you will get a response.
I will say, every time I've called Rami for a discount on a gun, he's delivered.
Not to me.
Every time I've called for one of my friends to get, licensed, like they went through the class, even when I went to your class, it was awesome. Like
amazing.
And when you're taking a class with Rami, you think you really know how to shoot a gun. And then you leave his class and you go to shoot the gun and you're like, damn, what did he teach me?
Look, what Moby's talking about when it comes to the community, I agree. We have to slow down. There's no secret about it. If my son, or in the future, hopefully, or my mom or my dad are crossing the street, I don't want them to get hit by somebody. God forbid. And it goes to everybody. We genuinely have a problem. There's something wrong with our youth.
Yes.
However, he said everything 10 out of 10.
Tends to be the people that are 16, 17, 18 years old.
We were like that.
Saying,
You didn't do like that when you're
No,
17.
no. I think I maybe rolled the stop sign a couple of times and I felt it.
You got to remember, guys, too, cars are getting faster and faster.
Yes.
Some of these electric cars, I mean, I was in an electric car not too long ago. I think it was like 2.5 seconds. And we were going like 80 miles an hour. I could not believe it. No, we were on a track, so it was totally legal.
But don't you have a Lamborghini?
I do, yeah, but I drive very carefully. And you know how many people try to engage me to drag race? Every time I'm on the road in the state of Michigan, if you're at a line, literally at the red light, start revving your engine, let's just say you start going and 2 miles an hour you get flicked, you get the cop behind you, you committed a misdemeanor of drag racing. Doesn't matter how fast you're going.
Impound the car.
So they would impound the car. But listen, I know what's at stake. Drag racing is a serious offense in the state of Michigan. Some prosecutors might be more lenient than others, but the consequences can be very heavy. If you're recklessly driving, the state of Michigan has an 8-year ban on a CPL. Why is a CPL related to reckless driving? I'm unsure, but they decide that's one of the offenses. If you're found guilty of reckless driving, you cannot get a CPL for 8 years.
You know what? We need to do that video, and you need to post that. That needs to be a talking point. Because I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
But that is really, really big, Rami.
Yeah, absolutely. Aside from the CPL issue, 6 points, 6-month license suspension, hard suspension. There's no way out of it. And there's a whole host of other issues that could create a criminal record for the rest of your life. Not to mention the insurance. We're all aware our insurance is so expensive. So a lot of the pushback that courts are getting are, listen, in the state of Michigan, our insurance is expensive. Please give me another chance to prove to you that my son, my daughter, or I won't do this ever again. And that's usually where you'll get a little remorse. You get some remorse out of these prosecutors and judges. So at the end of the day, that 16-year-old driving down the street going 80 miles per hour, who's paying his insurance?
I just tell you, you also don't want to stop them from getting into medical school, law school, pharmacy school, because if you're reckless driving and you're saying it's a criminal offense,
Absolutely.
You don't want that on your record.
Absolutely. So that we have to have some sort of give and take when it comes to 100 days.
Just know if you're speeding in Dearborn Heights, and I'm Mo Baydoun as the mayor, inshallah, God willing.
Inshallah.
I promise you, your car's getting impounded.
That's a.
And you're going to be written up for reckless driving.
They get to learn.
And I'm sure the attorney's going to be able to find a way to reduce it. But you're going to feel the pain. You're going to feel the wrath of not being able to speed in Dearborn Heights anymore. That is going to be a #1 priority for us. It's bad. I promise you, sometimes in the middle of the night, I'm sleeping. My 3-year-old son, Ali B, still sleeps next to us. Medina sleeps in her own room. The speeding down my block is so loud and fast that we all jump. We're all afraid. When does that happen in Dearborn Heights? And so it's not going to be allowed anymore.
Just the other day, Chief, I was closing my door in my car. I was about to take one step across the street. I swear to like a bullet. I thought, God forbid, had I taken 2 extra steps, I would have been dead, literally. And I didn't even hear him coming. That's how fast he was going.
It was probably an electric car, too.
I got so mad, I got in the car myself and legally stayed within the speed limit and followed this guy. And I let him hear it. Said, imagine that was you or your mom or your dad. And he understood. He was a little kid, 16, 17 years old. Said, look, I totally understand. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't see you in the road. I said, that's the issue. You're going so fast. You can't focus other than on your speed. You become blind at a certain point.
I was actually talking to the window during the NFL draft. Just the other day, my buddy bought a convertible. I'm having a conversation with him through the window. And this lady's driving in her car. She's not speeding, but she's speeding. She's doing like 30, 33, I would say. And I'm like, okay, I'll just get close to the car. She didn't see me. I ran. I legit ran away. I said, can you imagine? Yeah. My opponents would be so happy if I would have got hit and destroyed.
No, stop.
God forbid.
Question for both of you, Rami and Mo.
I got a question for you first.
Okay, go ahead.
What made you become a barber other than your brother punching you in the eye? Really?
I just love it. I used to do my friend just line up for beard. When they need a beard lineup, same what I did to you today. So I just lined them up, beard, and that's it. And then
How long have you been doing this for?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then one of my friend,
How old are you?
38.
Really?
So I did his beard. He went to the barber. Who did your beard? He told him, Tief. Is he a barber? He told him, no. You know, back then, like when I was a kid, I don't want to work. I just want to have fun and do all that.
It's like Rami right now. He don't work and he just has fun.
So the guy, the barber, he called me. He said, Tief, come work with me. No, bro, I don't want to be a barber. I don't want to work. He went to my family. I remember he called my uncle, and my uncle, he said, come here. Stop walking around and make problems. Go work with this guy. You can get money. I went to the, bro, why you called my family? I said, bro, because I seen like what you did. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I started work with him. He taught me like how to cut basic haircut. I learned it. It was a competition, like after 2 years, competition they did it in Iraq. 55 barbers. He told me, you gotta go. Bro, I'm not going with these guys. They've been in the game. He want me just to go. He said, Wallah, because he saw me. Like, I love to learn everything. Every day, learn new haircut. Every day, doing a lot of, bro, just go. I'm gonna get you the ticket. I'm telling you, go with them. Bro, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. He got me the ticket. When I went there, bro, it was a lot of people. And I was a kid. They called my name, okay, come, they do every 5 together. So I did 2 haircuts. The judges, if you leave, if the judge call you, it means they like your haircut. So I went, what's your name? I give them my name. He said, okay, go ahead. I went sit. After the competition done, they're gonna call 5 people, the winners, but they're gonna start from 5 to 1.
Yeah.
They called the 5th, my name not in it. I said, it's impossible I'm gonna be in those 5 from 55. They called the 4, wasn't me. 3, wasn't me. They called 2 names. It was one of them mine and other barber. And the first one, they give it to old guy. He wasn't even on the competition. Just to give it to him respect because he was there.
Yeah.
Basically, both of me and the other guy, we got number 1. So I still have videos and pictures. That's when I really liked being a barber. Like it pushed me really, really hard.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
And that's amazing. That's an awesome story, buddy.
My brother.
I love that. Were they only Iraqi barbers there?
Yes.
Because I thought maybe they were like only looking out for you because you're Iraqi.
No. All of them are Iraqi.
Okay.
And a lot of them, they know the judges.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because these judges, they was barbers, and we have all like barbers. They've been in the game long time, so they know the judges too.
You know, I used to go to a barber for a very long time. I say maybe like the last 7, 8 years. I recently left him, and I won't get into as to reason why I left him.
Change barbers, it's really hard.
It is.
If you're comfortable with one barber, it's really hard.
It is. And I just went to this new barber, and he's amazing. Like I said to myself, where has he been all these years? Because I haven't changed a barber in 15 years.
I want to tell you this one. You're talking about, sometime you don't know about haircut.
No.
You just get a haircut and leave. But when I look at it, like I seen a lot of mistakes. Man, how this barber let him go like that?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you stuck with one barber. First time when you cut with a barber, he gonna get you right on point. You just need to keep you. Second time, he gonna be good. Third time, he gonna be all right. They get more comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Now that's when they
Well,
get
this is my third
slacking.
time, and he's been good. So like,
Not a lot of barbers. Like a lot of them, they consistent is the most important part with everything.
and you barbers are like the new real estate agents. You guys are rich.
Man.
You guys are rich.
We stand all day.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Rami.
I would stand all day.
I know that your back probably hurts a little.
Well, I
bit.
love
Rami.
you. I love you.
Rami, they're making $300,000 a year cash. All right, they're making a lot of money. Yeah, I would stand all day, and they're making doctor money.
But it's, you know, listen,
What's the difference, Dr.
cutting
Rami?
cutting hair is an art. It's a talent.
100%.
So dues are respected in that aspect.
Shoot $70 for 15 minutes. What do you think?
15 minutes. Who take 15 minutes?
Tell you something.
15 minutes. I can't even finish your beard, bro.
Yeah, see, I want to be honest with you. You know what kind of barber I like? Yeah, like get me out real quick. Get my back. I can't sit for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I can't.
Let me tell you something
can't.
about teeth. If you put me underwater, dunk my whole body underwater, he'll still be able to cut it, and he'll still be able to give me the freshest smell.
You know. I want you to know, Dave Abdullah swears by him, and so does Hish.
I love David Abdullah.
Yeah.
Moby, you're so confident in your cut that you brought a hat today.
Give me 5.
I want to tell you something. If you know one thing about me, I went to Umrah this year, and I wore a hat. And my friends were like, "What are you doing?" I go, "Bro, guys, it's just my thing."
Yeah,
I love
well,
it.
to be honest, he's always.
I've been wearing hats.
I just thought about it.
Look, here's my hair. It looks good. But I'm a hat guy. I've been wearing hats since I was a kid. I don't know. It was something, it's just, I don't know. It's like nostalgic to me, kind of.
Yeah, give us the campaign hat.
That's the best thing. They saying you look good, you feel good.
You feel good, you'll live good. And if you live good, you'll make good. And if you make good, you'll die good.
Absolutely.
So a haircut, like I give it to anybody. When you have a nice haircut, you talk better, you walk better, you have conversation with people better. People gonna look at you better.
Yeah. I have a question for Rami.
Oh,
Rami has the best life. Smallah.
no.
Smallah yaghzil ayn.
He work hard. That's what I love.
Very hard. Or he's the best delegator. One of the two. Okay. Because the other day I was having a meeting at a pool hall in Dearborn Heights. I was speaking to the guy and I told him, okay, Allah, I need to go. I gotta go back to work. And as I'm walking out, I hear a bunch of guys talking. I go outside, it's Rami and like 4 guys. I'm like, what am I thinking to myself? Okay, I know you own this place, but you're not working 9 to 5 right now. What are you doing all day? You're driving, I know he's doing videos. Bismillah, he does a very good job at delegating this. I want to know what your day-to-day looks like. From the day you wake up to when you go to sleep.
So typically I wake up around 7.
Time out. Before he answers it, that same morning, he showed me his garage. He put on Instagram his new garage. Okay. I saw things like him. He was out hanging out. He's like, yeah, well, we just went out to eat. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What are you talking about?
So my day is usually front end heavy. So wake up 7:45, 8, answer all my emails. Court's usually popping around 8:30 or 9. Yeah. Just this morning, I had to be in 4 courts for 12 different clients at the same exact time. Wow. And subhanAllah, because of Zoom and because of technology, I'm able to help these people still.
Were you wearing pants or were you wearing shorts?
No, I wear my suit. I had to actually be in person for one of them. Okay. So I had to have my phone in one hand and helping others, live in person. So usually around 11:30, breaks for lunch. At that point, I usually stroll over to the gun store because courts are typically a morning thing. So really, at the end of the day, it's the law firm in the morning and the gun store in the afternoon.
So you're done 11:30 in the morning.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Last question before we end it for both. What's your best spot in Dearborn Heights you go to?
I'm extremely biased, so I'm going to tell you it's the gallery. The gallery really has some of the most authentic food in the city. Our pizza is made with 100% sourdough. Haj Ali is a master at making this pizza. There's no preservatives. There's no canola oil. Our tomato sauce is made with fresh made tomatoes. Again, the study is showing that sourdough is actually so healthy for your gut health. Our sushi, most of our fish is being imported weekly from Hawaii. And so really, like I tell people, You want to eat a healthy meal. You want to eat pizza. Everybody loves pizza. You can get a healthy pizza from the gallery, which you're going to pay a little bit more than a regular pizzeria, but you're not going to feel like crap after. You're going to be able to leave there and be like, what the hell did I just eat?
I love seafood.
Try some of the best sushi, man. Really, it's and I'm not saying it because I own it.
No.
But I truly believe it's the best food in the city right now. Eventually I'll get sick of it, but I've been eating it since October 3rd, and wahiyat Allah, I probably eat it once or twice. Today I ate it. I'm going home right now. I'm probably gonna pick up a pizza because my wife made great steaks. I don't want steak.
Listen, I love the gallery too. I really do. Great food, great vibes. Everything's awesome about it. I think what you did from what it used to be is also transformational.
Oh, he changed it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it was big.
And if you can get better chicken tenders anywhere, let me know. I want to challenge them. So maybe we'll do like a chicken tender challenge on the show one day.
To try them. I've never tried the tender.
What?
I'll do that next.
Hey, Rami.
I want to try
Mango
it.
habanero, ranch, and buffalo. Put them all on the side and just nice dip them. The mango habanero is my favorite.
So for me, the city, my favorite spot in the city is not necessarily any destination, but I love cruising down Ford Road and remembering the difference. Growing up, Ford Road was dead. I mean, vacant building after vacant building. Everything was ugly. I mean, it's crazy. So just taking a drive from Inkster to Telegraph impresses me, and it genuinely brings me joy. There's life in our city. You know, I'm in Birmingham at 12 o'clock. You can hear nothing, literally nothing. Come to Dearborn Heights, subhanAllah, every business is lit up. Everyone's enjoying their time. So just being in our community brings me joy.
That's a good answer.
Mo, thank you for coming. We really appreciate you, and appreciate you how much you did for Dearborn Heights. Rami, thank you for your time too.
Barbie T, well,
good luck.
Your services have been,
For real, good luck
amazing. And this podcast show that you do here, this is great, man. This is great. Young people are going to look at this and they're going to watch this and they're going to appreciate Rami and appreciate you. And they might say, hey, maybe I'm talented with being a barber, or maybe I want to become a lawyer.
100%.
So, but we need to talk about, this reckless driving thing, and you can't get a CPL if you get a reckless driving ticket.
Bring me on board to find a solution. I have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, I like that. Wow.
I do. I genuinely do.
Thank you guys for watching. If you need any question about Mo or Rami, drop the comment. We're gonna make it happen for you. Peace.